Hello friends, welcome to LeggLife and welcome back to our cruise series. Even though the vlogs are over, we're kind of doing all of the follow-up videos now.
Yeah.
And this video we're doing today is one that we do after every Disney cruise. This is our Disney cruise review video of our time on the Disney Wonder.
We have cruised on the Wonder before, we've done a Wonder review video, but every cruise really is different.
Yeah, it's really true, and especially during COVID time. And that's one of the things I want to talk about from the beginning. We're actually doing kind of two cruise review videos.
Yeah.
This is going to be more about what our experience was like on board, sort of the cruise in general. We are going to touch into some COVID stuff because there's just not a way not to.
Right.
But then on Friday, we're actually going to put up another video that is all COVID specific.
Yes.
Did we feel safe? What the process was like? Did we feel that COVID impacted the cruise negatively? All of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So we'll touch into some COVID stuff in this review, but we're not going to dwell there. This really is going to be about our time on the Wonder and how it went. And like Sherry said, every experience really is different. And I think it's important, we were talking about this at dinner, I think it's important when watching not just our review videos, but other review videos to remember that if there are 1,000 people on the ship, there are 1,000 different experiences.
Right.
So just because you or somebody you watch may have had a bad experience on a specific ship, there may be people on that exact same cruise who had the best vacation of their life.
Right.
Right? And so this was just our experience on this ship at this time. It just happens to be like our review. So let's jump into it. We are going to do this a little bit different. This is going to be more conversation than like list, like bullet points and stuff.
Yeah, we do have kind of a list kind of in front of us of like general talking points, I guess, but it's going to be more of a discussion.
So let's start with the good stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that we really loved about this cruise, Sherry.
Which I will say was most of it.
It was most of it. And we're going to give you, at the end, we're going to answer a question. We're going to say, do we think that it was worth sailing during COVID? Do we think that this cruise was worth the money we paid for it, given all of the good, all of the bad, all of the changes?
Right.
Okay, so we're going to answer that at the end of this video, but we're going to start with the good stuff, Sherry.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you and I both agreed on that was good really was the uniqueness of how few people were on the ship.
Yeah. I think it was almost a 1-to-1 ratio between crew and guests.
About
which is kind of crazy.
I think when the Wonder sails full, it's at about 2,700 or 2,800, and we had passengers. We had just below 1,000 on our cruise.
And I think they had just below 1,000 crew.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it really was a good thing. I mean, it was just so unique.
It was very different. Yeah.
Yep. What did, as an introvert who doesn't like crowds, what did you like about that?
I really liked the not crowds. I think that's one of the things that exhausts me and like stresses me out is just being in like crowds. And this is even like pre-COVID. I don't like people in my bubble. And so it's just, I don't like being in crowds, and there were no crowds.
Yeah, there were
so many times we were walking through the ship feeling like,
where's everybody at?
Are we missing like a rave somewhere? Like, is there like some kind of crazy like meet and greet that we don't know about that every single person on the ship knows about but us? It was weird.
We actually talked about that. That's one of the best ways to describe it. It feels like there's a huge ship-wide party happening somewhere else, and you're the only one missing it.
Right.
That's really what it felt like.
Right, which is not how it was. I mean, there just wasn't anything else going on. Like, there was just so few people. And
so that is the good part. Now, when we get to the parts maybe we didn't love as much, I am going to actually talk about, for me at least, the negative of having so few people on the ship.
Yeah.
But it was nice being able to have, like, no waits, really,
no
for
waits
anything.
For anything. You just walk right up.
That was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
super cool. So the next thing on our list, Sherry, this was one of your favorite ones, characters.
Yes.
So they're not character meet and greets, they're...
Appear and wave.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest.
Which is a really stupid name.
It's so dumb.
I'm going to put a better name to me.
Appear and waves.
It was stupid. But, so you couldn't, like, hang out next to, you couldn't give Minnie Mouse a hug. You couldn't, like, get your picture with the princesses. You could stand in front of them as they were up the staircase and, get pictures that way.
Yeah.
Masks on, everything. So, it was different, but I will say, as far as character sightings, it was all day, every day.
It felt like they were... So on a normal Disney cruise, it feels like there are scheduled appearances at certain times, right? And so you go to this place to meet character X. Yep. This, it felt like it was pretty much constant all around the ship.
Everywhere. Yeah. And so there's so many times, like, walking around the ship, you see Donald and Daisy, or Stitch. I feel like they were sort of, like, everywhere.
Yeah.
Mickey and Minnie, like, walking through, like, the
pool area.
The pool deck every day, kind of all day. And kind of in the atrium a lot. And the princesses in the atrium a lot. Like, I feel like there's usually, like, the princess meet and greet where it's like, this is your 1 hour block, this is the time you get to meet the princesses, and that's it. And they were out there every day.
Yep.
And they would do 2 at a time, kind of, again, up that staircase, and then they'd switch, and then do a switch again. Like, they were out all the time. Yeah,
so as far as, like, getting to see characters, is it different? Yes, it is. But you still get to see them, and you get to see them a lot.
More often.
Yeah, I did really like that. Next thing on our list was unanimous for you and I.
Yeah.
The French Quarter Lounge. Okay, so the Wonder is our favorite ship.
Yes.
And here's what I will say. We haven't talked about this. So I will say this for me, and I'll ask Sherry. After this cruise, we just finished, is the Wonder still your favorite ship?
Yes. In fact, I think it's even more my favorite ship.
Me too. Me too, completely.
Because of the French Quarter Lounge. So before it was like the Promenade Lounge, which it was just a place to sit and get a drink. Like, it was a nice place to sit. I didn't have anything against it.
It was super basic, super like unthemed, just a normal
nice
cruise bar
lounge. That was a little more like in the walkway and not like down at the end of the ship with all the other bars. But I think that, man, just the theming of it, just the feel of it, and like having it right next to Tiana's. I loved it.
I feel like when it was the Promenade, we would go there every now and then, specifically like for an event or a trivia, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not a place, like if I was just going to go sit and have a drink, it's not a place that I would choose to go.
Right, because I would go to the other bars.
French Quarter, I would choose to go there, and did choose to go there.
Yeah.
So I loved that. We hadn't been on the Wonder since they added the French Quarter. It was great. And it fits the whole Tiana's theme that's just right down the hall.
Yep.
To me, like, it's a little off track, but like, to me, I'm like, please, on the Magic, where they have Rapunzel's Royal Table, turn the Promenade into the Snuggly Duckling.
Yeah.
Why would you not do that?
Like, just theme the heck out of it. And it's... Listen, people are on a Disney cruise. They want the theming. They want that.
Well...
And if they don't want theming, they can go on a different cruise line.
But here's my point and counterpoint.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to throw some shade at the Wish. One of my problems with the Wish is it looks like they over-themed everything. It's like a hodgepodge of different brands. It's just like Star Wars bar here, this here, that there, Marvel here, that there.
Everything is super themed.
Don't go after me in the comments. It's just not my thing. But what I liked about the French Quarter is that it fit the theming that already existed right down the hall.
Right. It made it all cohesive in this whole big experience.
Yes.
Turning around that corner and walking down
that
whole hall with
now
the
all
French
fits.
Quarter Lounge and then Tiana's.
Yes.
It's all cohesive.
It all fits, and that's what I liked. Next thing we liked, a bunch of people who are booked on the Wish are like trolling me right now in the comments.
Okay.
Go after Adam! He said something negative about Disney. No! Next thing we really liked was, so the way that the Broadway shows worked, normally on a cruise, our length, we would have 3 Broadway shows, and then like 1 variety act, like a juggler, a magician,
because it was
comedian.
4 nights, and so there would be 4 different shows or things each night.
No variety acts.
One different thing at each night.
No variety act. I'll talk about that later. And only 2 of the Broadway shows. But the way the Broadway shows worked is that they were 2 nights each. So night 1 and 2 was Frozen. Night 3 and 4 was Disney Dreams.
Right.
I loved
that. Now, I did miss the 3rd show.
Yes.
Because I think it's like Golden Mickey's or something. And I love it. I love the whole thing. I've seen it 100 times and I don't care. Like, I want to see it every time.
You've seen it 100 times?
Well, I've seen it like 6 times. But still, I missed it because I love the Disney shows.
Yeah.
However, I loved even more the ability to choose which night you go and have an open night.
I love that.
Because there's because the shows are so good on all of the Disney ships, you don't want to miss them.
Yep.
And even though I've seen them before, I still want to see them again because they're so good. And we had seen Frozen and Disney Dreams before, and I didn't care. I want to see them again. But having those extra 2 nights to do whatever we wanted.
Yep.
And do something else on the ship or hang out in the room or whatever was so nice. Like having, and it's not that there's not a choice. You can still do that, but it's just,
here's the thing.
I feel like I'm missing something really great if I'm not at the show, which I am, but this gives you the option to not go.
Most Disney cruises, because we love the shows and we love the main dining restaurants, most Disney cruises from basically 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 9:30, every night is gone. That time is gone, right? And so we don't have a lot of time to explore the ship or see sunsets or like do things in there because we love the shows, we love the main dining, and so like that block of time is gone.
To dining, and it's just like.
And so to get to be able to like, you know what, we're gonna not see Frozen tonight because we can see it tomorrow night, and so we're gonna have this hour and a half, 2 hour period that is now free for us. Was awesome.
It was so great.
So I loved the having shows on multiple nights option of that. Obviously, that's probably not something that will be kept.
I kind of actually hope so.
I don't see how they keep it.
I know, but I really, it's a feature that I know that they did out of necessity, but I really liked it.
Yeah, I loved it. Also loved that the theaters were basically like empty. Right, because like there was nobody seating around you. If you guys saw that in our vlog.
Yeah, so they seated every other row, and then they left 3 seats
yeah.
between you and in the next party in that row.
Next thing that we loved, and this next one may be one of the biggest compliments we can give Disney on this cruise, because one of the things that we love about Disney Cruise Line is that the service is spectacular.
Always.
This was our
Almost
7th
always.
cruise, right?
Yes.
This is our 7th cruise, and we can only point to a couple of not excellent
moments. Not cruises, but moments.
Moments, that's right.
In a cruise.
Normally the service is over the top, wonderful, excellent, spectacular. This cruise was by far
above and beyond that.
The best service we've ever received.
They were, and again, I think it had to do with the 1-to-1 ratio. They were bored to tears. I think that they were just like, please let me help you. Please let me go out of my way to help you because I need something to do.
I mean, it certainly does when you have, a crew on board that has less passengers, right? Obviously, there's more time then to focus on service. So certainly that was some of it. Some of it also the fact that, remember, like they're back at work after 18 months as well. And so there's like an eagerness and excitement with them. I did love, speaking about the guest service, I felt like we got to have more meaningful conversations with crew and cast this time than we've ever had on a cruise.
And I think part of that, goes back to just the lack of passengers. They had the time to kind of sit and chat a little bit because they didn't have a line of people waiting.
Yep, that's exactly right.
So it was, I really liked that.
Yeah, there were so many things. The quality of the food in the restaurants was what we expected. The same.
Great.
It was kind of what we knew. Let's talk about what we liked in the stateroom. We've never stayed in an ocean view stateroom before.
Correct.
Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think?
I loved certain parts of it.
Okay.
I disliked other parts of it.
Yep.
During the day, I loved walking in.
We feel exactly the same about this.
And seeing the ocean. It's just beautiful. But at night, and then early morning specifically, it did let in light. And so, and I don't think you guys understand how light of a sleeper I am. And it really was like,
it was too much.
We had the curtains over the window and then the curtains by the bed, and it still just let light in. And there's not a way to avoid that. And it just woke me up early every morning. So I'd have to cover my head. Which is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think that I would not stay in an ocean view room again.
I agree.
I think if I'm gonna have the view and the light, I'd rather have a veranda. Like, let me go out and enjoy the sea air and the ocean and everything, and not just look at it through a window.
Yeah, so I loved the exact same thing. I loved having the porthole during the day. Loved being able to like wake up and open it and like look outside. It was really cool. But I knew the light bothered you. It doesn't bother me. I can sleep anywhere.
Right.
But because of that, like for us, there's no reason to book an ocean view room again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's no draw to that kind of room at all for us.
Right. So I would probably still just lean toward an inside room because it's so dark.
Inside, and then if we were gonna
cheaper.
And if we were gonna splurge, we'd do a veranda.
Right.
For sure.
If I'm gonna have light coming in, let me get out into the air.
Totally. Anything else on the ship that you really liked? Was there anything that kind of stood out on the experience that was like, you know what, that was unique and good?
I don't know.
So there's one more for me.
Yeah?
And again, it's so hard because a lot of this does feel like it's probably COVID related. Our bags got there super quick.
Yeah. Like when they let us in the room at 1:30, like that's usually the time that the rooms are available.
But then they're like, you'll get your bags before like what, 5 p.m. or something like that?
It's usually 4 or 5 before we get our bags, and I think like probably everybody that we've seen in these vlogs had them when we were able to get into the room at 1:30, and I think that had to do with how few people were on the ship. Like they weren't having to deliver 2,700 people's bags. It was 900 people's bags.
Yep.
And so
loved that. Loved how quick that was.
Yeah.
How great that process was. The muster drill, you guys saw us talk about this in the vlog.
Please keep that, Disney. Keep it.
I've heard rumors, and I don't know if this is true or not, maybe some of you can confirm it, that Disney has received approval to keep doing the muster drill that way. And fingers crossed that is true, because it is spectacular.
And the thing is, like, for me, the mustard drill...
I think it's the mustard drill. Is it mustard?
It's not.
It should be, because that's
for me,
much more fun.
I need to know where to go.
Yep.
And, like, no, that's it. And so having to go to that station, take a picture of it, it's on your Key to the World card as well. So it's not like you're going to forget. It's right there with you all the time. It was so easy. You don't have to stand. And I feel like our muster drills are always... I think one time we've had them, like, inside in one of the theaters. And all the other times, it's, like, out on deck 4. And you're standing in the sun for half an hour. And you're just standing there. And you're not allowed to move. And you're standing this close to everybody. And it's just like, this is the worst thing ever. Please let me leave.
It's so funny because I only remember being out on deck 4 once or maybe twice.
No, I think it's every time.
Really?
Yes.
We were in Animator's Palette once. We were in the Walt Disney, I think, at least twice.
No, we were in the Buena Vista once.
Buena Vista, that's what I meant.
And we were in Animators once.
Weird.
But I think all the others we've been outside, and I feel like it's just...
miserable?
Ugh. Please just let me be done.
We need to do. You also don't like being around people.
I don't like being around people, and you have to stand so close. Because you have to squish everybody into this tiny little place.
I love it. It's like a giant hug. I'm like, oh, what's that? We're going to start our cruise with a giant group hug? I'm in. Count me in. Hug it up. No?
No.
Okay.
But this was so easy.
So one more thing about the ship that I think was, or the boat, as some of you would call it, that I think was impressive.
You're just trying to get riled up comments today.
I am trying. Stay tuned later for all of my thoughts about the Disney Wish. I was not sure how. Okay, we were on the Disney Magic, if you guys remember. Didn't have the best experience. Also was bummed that ship felt a little bit run down and worn down in some places. I had wondered what the state of the Wonder was going to be after being out of service for so long. You know, because sometimes when things sit, there are certain things that are let go. And kudos to the crew who
it felt cleaner.
Oh my gosh, it felt so much cleaner.
Yeah, like I almost feel like they had spent the 18 months off, like cleaning and painting and fixing, and it was like,
oh man,
it was in pristine condition.
I loved it.
Now, part of that might be because it has been like, it did the whole French Quarter Lounge update, and it kind of had been
just a couple years ago,
a little bit since we've been on it. So we haven't been on it since then. So it did kind of have a little bit of a refresh since we've been on it last, but it just really felt very
clean. It was in great shape.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like one of the oldest ships. So now let's talk. We talked about things that we loved. Now, this next section, I don't want to talk about things that we hated, because that's not even fair.
Nope.
I want to call it things that we missed.
Things we missed.
Okay? And you and I feel different about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
To me, I missed the sailing away deck party. So when you come on the ship, Please welcome aboard the Leg family, right? And then this time they walk you onto the dot you stand on, and there's Mickey and Minnie, and they do this little show, and then you're kind of, like escorted to your muster station.
Right.
It was fine.
It was cute. I wouldn't hate if they kept that, but I did miss the whole like getting up on deck and the whole big sailing away party. The little like dance party thing they do. I don't ever participate, but I love to watch it and like be there. And we never once heard the horn.
Well, to be fair, that's on us. But what happens with the horn is normally you're outside on deck, right? There's the fanfare around the start of the cruise, right?
Right.
There's the countdown, and then there's the confetti, and now your vacation begins, and then there's the amazing horn, right? So everybody's outside gets to experience that.
Right, and so you're like, it's just like this whole big thing, but there wasn't a thing, and so like it didn't even occur to me until a couple days into the cruise. I was like,
oh, we've never heard the horn.
We never heard the horn.
Yeah, because
and they did it on the first day as we were sailing away, but
because there
were 4 people on deck when it happened.
Yeah, because there's no reason to be out there. So
right.
I missed that kind of celebratory start to the cruise.
Yeah.
This just kind of fell flat to me. And not just that. Well, let's kind of group these things together, because for me it was all of the deck parties.
It was all of the deck parties. The pirate night,
There were still fireworks on our cruise, but like the whole show around that was nothing.
There wasn't one.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever the see you real soon party is on the last night.
In the atrium.
Even though you always cry and it's always sad. I missed it. Like I missed the fanfare. And you know what? I'm gonna skip down our list because I think it fits here.
Okay.
This may be the thing that I missed the most, and this is tied to I think the low number of people on the ship. There was a lack of energy everywhere.
Yes.
Like it just felt, I don't want to say dead, but it just didn't have the energy that a Disney cruise normally has.
The entire cruise felt like 3 o'clock in the morning.
What do you mean by that?
When you're like walking around at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and there's nobody out and the atrium is empty and
I'd even say
everybody's sleeping, that was the feel of the whole cruise.
And I'd even say more than just like the absence of people, like in Tiana's place. You know, there's normally like everybody's clapping along to the band and it's great and exciting, but in a restaurant that is a third full, it just like the band
closest table to you is 4 tables away.
The band is on stage playing their hearts out and trying so hard to like fill this empty room, and it just doesn't work. And so there were just times that I was just like, oh, like it was just a lack of energy.
Yeah.
And so
I will actually agree with that.
Hey, an introvert agrees that it was lacking energy?
I loved the lack of crowds.
Okay.
And I know that everybody there was super excited to finally be back on
Without
the ship.
Without a doubt.
But because of the just less amount of people, there just wasn't that, like, we're all on vacation, we're on a Disney cruise.
Yeah, because there's normally a buzz on the ship. And there was never, I never felt a buzz.
Nope, it just wasn't there.
So the next thing that I missed, popcorn. Popcorn.
This is a you thing?
This is 100% a me thing. Outside the Buena Vista, popcorn. Room service, popcorn. I couldn't get popcorn anywhere. And I was so bummed about that because like I love
Walt Disney.
What's that?
Theater.
Outside the Walt Disney Theater wasn't there. Like they couldn't get it anywhere. And so I was so bummed about that. And even just like popcorn buckets and just all of the popcorn, because I'm such a big popcorn fan.
You are?
Shocking. I really missed that. Next thing, the next couple of things kind of fit in that we missed. I want to say a lack of things to do because they still had a lot of activities planned, but there are a lot of things that just weren't happening.
Yeah.
They weren't doing any of the ship tours. Like pin trading wasn't happening. It just felt like there were a lot of, there was no variety act. Again, only 2 of the 3 Broadway shows. And so
the group that's always in the atrium with like the piano player and the singer, like
music, that's
just
right.
Music all the time. There just wasn't any of that. They did have like piped music.
Yeah, but not
all the time. But
yeah. And so I think
music.
I think I missed that. Like I missed the things to do. Again, there was still lots to do, but it felt like if you weren't into animation, trivia, maybe those two.
Origami.
Yeah, like the craft things, outside of those, there weren't a lot of options. And that was a bummer to me. In fact, as I thought about it, I'm really thankful that this was a viewer cruise because we had so many friends with us that like kept us busy and kept us occupied. That the lack of things on board didn't really affect our cruise.
No, in fact, there were a lot of things that I was like, oh, I wanted to do that, and I ran out of time.
Yeah, because we got caught in conversation with somebody or something. So for me, having our people with us really helped keep me distracted from what I felt like was a noticeable decrease in things to do on board. Would you agree with that?
I think they didn't have the variety of things, but I feel like there was always things going on.
There were always things going on.
It was just sort of, there was a lot of trivia. Instead of like 2 or 3 things of trivia a day, it was like every hour in a different place.
And it felt like anything that was high touch points, those are the things that went away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so bingo is no longer the electric machines, it's paper cards. There's, again, pin trading, like things where people would have to be closely interact. Ship tours where you'd have a group of people together from multiple staterooms. Like all of that stuff for our cruise was gone.
Yeah.
And that bummed me out.
Yeah.
The next thing, and this we'll touch on this in the COVID video as well, but it did impact our cruise here. People's faces.
Yeah, walking onto the ship and not being able to see the joy, because all you see is this, was
and like
a little bit of a bummer.
Not even walking onto the ship, the entire cruise.
The entire cruise.
Every time there is a character, you're used to seeing kids' faces light up with excitement and joy, and okay, my face too. You don't get to see that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the whole experience was muffled.
I'm not great at smizing.
What?
Smiling with your eyes.
Oh.
I'm not great at that. And so, like, it's just, this is all you get to see. And so I'm smiling and I'm super excited, but nobody can't see that.
And so that to me probably contributed to the lack of energy.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're on a Disney cruise and there's no smiles.
I mean, there are, but you can't see them.
You can't see them. And so that was disappointing.
Yeah.
Just kind of the mutedness of the mask kind of muted the emotion. So much about a Disney cruise is about that excitement and the emotion and the fun. And like the squeals and the joy when Stitch appears around the corner.
Yeah.
And so that was a bummer. That was a bummer to me.
Yeah.
Another bummer, Sherry, was merchandise.
Merchandise was a little bit weird.
I have a hair on my lip. I got it.
Right?
I'm better now.
Okay.
I'm better.
It was weird. It didn't feel empty. Like, none of the shops felt empty.
No, they felt full.
They felt full, but it was just, there wasn't any Halloween on the high seas.
That was surprising to me.
I felt like, so like the ears that they had, I already have all of them, and so I was just like, there's nothing new. The spirit jerseys, they didn't really have, I don't know, like, I didn't love any, I mean, I left this cruise without buying a pair of ears and without buying a spirit jersey because there just wasn't anything that I wanted.
This was the least amount of money we have spent on souvenirs on any Disney cruise, and we wanted to spend the most amount of money.
We wanted to spend so much, and it was just, like, we went into it with a budget, like, knowing we were going to spend a lot of money, and we didn't.
There just wasn't stuff that we wanted.
There wasn't anything that we wanted to buy.
The biggest disappointment for me was that there was no Halloween on the High Seas merchandise. Now, I guess for me, I can understand in some ways because Disney didn't know until a couple months before that they would even be sailing Halloween on the High Seas. You know, and so there is a huge financial investment in getting merchandise designed and made and produced and all that kind of stuff, right? So I do get that, but it was a disappointment because I wanted to get another Halloween on the High Seas shirt,
right?
Or I wanted to get a Halloween on the High Seas pin, or I wanted to get an ornament, or
I want a spirit jersey.
A Halloween on the High Seas spirit jersey?
Disney Cruise Line with Halloween on the High Seas.
Yo, that sounds awesome.
I was so excited for like Halloween on the High Seas like merch, and there was literally nothing.
Yep.
Which is a little bit of a... I mean, I do get, like, we didn't know until 60 days before. Oh, by the way, we're cruising.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I don't
know. So that's kind of our list, Sherry, of things that we loved, things that maybe we missed. Now I want to ask a couple questions.
Okay.
And I want to start with the question that we were asked the most before the cruise. Is it worth it? So...
Is it worth it?
Keep in mind, there was no discount for cruising with this during this time with all of this kind of stuff. Like, it's still the premium Disney price. Would you do it again? Would you go on another cruise right now on Disney, keeping in mind the experience we just had, and then was it worth it for the price we paid? What do you think?
Because we have been on other cruises, and because it's just how we like to vacation, yes, I would go right now. I would pack my bags tonight and I would leave. Mm-hmm. If you've never been on a Disney cruise, now I don't know. It's hard for me to speak to this because you don't know what you're missing, I guess.
Yeah, so
I can see both sides. You don't know what you're missing. You don't know how really, truly amazing it is with all of the things. So this might not seem like a lesser experience. And honestly, I don't know that I would have called it a lesser experience.
It's a different experience.
It's a different experience. But again, I do feel like they tried to make up for the lack of this stuff by providing this stuff. Some was a hit and some was a miss, but they tried. And so I don't know. That's a hard question for me, and I think that it's still always a personal choice.
Yeah. So I will give you a very clear answer. For me, I would absolutely go on another cruise right now. Exact same with you. Mm-hmm. It was a different experience. I will say, though, I did feel like it was a lesser experience. Okay. I felt like it was different, and I felt like it was lesser. To me, if you take the viewer cruise element away, and this is why this cruise is a little bit difficult for me to judge, because this cruise, I think we might have shared this in another video, tied for you and I, tied for the best Disney cruise we've ever been on.
Yes, because such a huge percentage of the people on board were our people. So
that's what I was gonna say. The highlight of this cruise for me was outside of really anything to do with the cruise itself.
It was just a big hangout with our friends and family.
It was the people, right? And so I kind of have to remove that when I'm judging this.
Yeah.
And say that if those people hadn't have been there, and it was just you and I on that cruise, for me, I honestly think I would have struggled with some boredom because I don't sit still well. And I think I would have gotten tired of doing those same few things they offered again and again. That's just me as a not able to shut down extrovert. For you, I think you would have loved it.
That's what I was going to say. So I think that having the extra downtime would have, I would have loved the cruise even more. I loved being able to hang out with everybody and like talk to everybody. But again, like that added just a whole different like element to it. If that was removed and I really got to sit by the pool for hours with literally nobody around me,
which you completely could have.
I would have loved that.
Yeah, so to me, answering this question, I believe that the key to this in should you book or what kind of experience would you have is to go into it with right size expectations.
What kind of experience are you wanting to have?
If you're the kind of person that wants to stay busy 24/7, go, you like all of the things you want, you loved that, you loved the way that there was so much stuff to do at any point in time, just know that's not going to be the case. There are still things to do, but not as many.
Right. But if you want to just be able to sit by the pool and eat your beignets and drink your drinks of the day. Yep. Perfect.
I think this has the potential to be the most relaxing Disney vacation you'll ever go on.
Yes.
If that's what you're looking for and that's how you're wired.
So you're still paying that premium, but for me, again, you get to see characters everywhere and you get to relax.
Yeah, so...
Like very few people. Like, you're not relaxing in a crowd, which is not relaxing.
So to me, the key is if you are a seasoned Disney cruiser, approach it with realistic expectations. Right. Know that the experience is going to be different. Magical, absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know, fun, for sure. So much of what you love about Disney is still there. Yeah. There's some things that aren't going to be, but to me, that didn't ruin the cruise.
The magic was still there.
The magic was still there. We had a truly great experience. Yeah. I felt like it was worth the money that we paid. Yeah. But also, I do know the way I'm wired, and that would be a concern of mine, cruising right now, is would there be enough to keep me busy on the ship?
Yep, keep you entertained.
To keep me entertained.
Because you don't self-entertain well.
No, not at all. It's like, we spent one day at the pool, not even a day, we spent a few hours at the pool, and I was like, I'm good, what can we go do? Like, time to go.
And I would have sat there for so much longer, but my Nook kept yelling at me because it was overheating.
Now,
Because it was the day we were in Cabo and it was hot.
I do want to say, because we didn't really talk about this, we're going to touch on this in the COVID video. The day number 1, shortly after we were on the ship, I think we were having lunch with the Zachmans. We had a conversation with them about how, you guys, I don't know if this was worth it. Because there was so much stress leading up to it, so much anxiety about the testing, the whole like port situation you guys saw in our video.
Right.
Up to that point, none of us were sure that this was worth it. Yet now looking back on it, I think, I don't want to speak for them because they'll talk in their own video, but for us, it was worth it.
It was worth it. There was a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress leading up to getting on the ship. But once you're on the ship, all those worries went away.
It's true.
And it didn't take me long to bounce back and get into okay, no more anxiety, no more stress. We were on this ship for 4 days and we're cruising.
Yeah.
So
good experience.
yes.
Yeah, so we loved it. That's kind of our review. The Wonder, the ship itself was spectacular. The crew, it was the best service we've ever received on any Disney cruise.
And we had so many people that were like, I'm so excited to be back. Like, I'm so excited to be back.
Yeah.
They were just so thankful, so excited.
Yep. So it was a truly amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I would encourage you, just remind you, it's different.
Right, go into it with an open mind. But if you've
It is
never
different.
cruised before...
No, I think if you've never cruised before, so we had a number of friends with us who had never cruised before.
Mm-hmm.
And again, those of you who've cruised, you're kind of constantly comparing, oh yeah, but there's not this, or this used to be this way, or this used to be that way. But people who don't know what it used to be like,
you don't know what you're missing, you don't know what you're missing.
It was still amazing.
A completely magical experience.
Yeah, so for me, I would have zero hesitation recommending a Disney cruise right now, especially if you were the kind of person that is like, you know what? I need to relax. I want a vacation where I can just be like renewed and rested and relaxed.
I want to go to some Broadway shows.
I want downtime. I want to be able to sit by the adult-only pool for 7 hours and see 13 other people.
Right.
Right? Like, now's the time. 3
of which are the waiters that keep coming by and giving me drinks.
Book your cruise.
Right.
So there you go, friends. That's our Disney cruise experience.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. See what I did? Because we sailed on the Disney Wonder. That's the name of the ship. So what I did is I took the name Wonder and I said that it was wonderful. I tied the name of the ship into my Friends, we love you guys so much. Again, on Friday's video, we're going to dive into the COVID side of all this.
Yes, we're going to walk you through what that whole process was like getting on the ship, and then what it was like once we were on the ship and different things we had to do.
Did we feel safe? Did we feel like Disney did a good job with the COVID restrictions? Did we feel like COVID negatively impacted this cruise? How annoying were the masks to wear all the time, especially in hot temperatures? We're going to talk about all that stuff because I know a lot of people want to know about COVID stuff. Friends, if you guys have questions about our cruise, in the comments below, want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Were there things that you wonder, what were our thoughts on this? What was this like? We will do our best to answer every one of your questions.
Yeah.
As always, friends, we love you guys. Thanks for watching this Disney Wonder cruise review video. But I think from both of us, what do you think? 2 thumbs up?
2 thumbs up.
Dang, good job, Disney. A 4 thumbs up. I was going to say 4 legs up because we're the legs. Then I realized that's a terribly inappropriate thing. So we'll stick to thumbs. So a 4 thumbs up cruise from the legs. Disney, you did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
In the middle of crazy circumstances.
Yep.
To the crew on the Wonder,
4 thumbs up.
Unbelievable. Genuinely.
So great.
Genuinely unbelievable. Thanks for an amazing experience. Friends, we love you guys, and we'll see you on the next LeggLife video.